Johnson Martin, a 38-year-old technology magnate, lived a life that most people could only imagine. As the CEO of Future Technology, a leading innovator in artificial intelligence and robotics, Johnson had crafted an empire from the ground up. His name became synonymous with groundbreaking technology, earning him features on the covers of numerous prestigious business magazines. Yet, despite his public success, Johnson remained an enigma to most. Rarely attending social gatherings, he devoted nearly every waking moment to his work. His lavish penthouse, nestled in the heart of New York City, was a symbol of his wealth but also served as his fortress of solitude. Johnson's journey to success was a long and challenging one. Born into a humble family with 2 sisters and a younger brother, he had always harbored dreams of a life beyond what he knew. His fascination with technology emerged at an early age. By 14, he was already assembling basic robots from scrap materials scavenged at local junkyards. His love for technology only deepened over time, leading him to secure a scholarship to study computer science at MIT. At MIT, Johnson's talent truly stood out. He wasn't merely a student, he was a visionary. His innovative projects often left professors in awe, and it wasn't long before major tech companies began to take notice of his potential. However, a painful breakup during his college years became the catalyst that drove his ambition. A woman he loved deeply left him for a wealthier man. A wound that made Johnson vow to never let anyone dictate his worth again. After graduation, he joined a top tech firm, where he quickly rose through the ranks. However, his entrepreneurial spirit yearned for more. Driven by a vision, he left his position to establish Future Technology in a modest garage much like the tech giants who inspired him. Johnson's relentless work ethic and innovative ideas fueled the company's ascent, transforming it into a powerhouse in the industry. But while Johnson thrived professionally, his personal life remained devoid of warmth. He lived alone, his only steady companion being Majan, his loyal housekeeper, who had been by his side since Future Technology's early days. Majan attended to Johnson's daily needs, cooking, cleaning, and maintaining his penthouse meticulously, but she could never fill the loneliness within him. To find solace, Johnson turned to books, especially science fiction and classic literature. Every evening, he would sit by his large window, lost in the pages of his beloved stories, escaping into worlds crafted by others. Johnson's secluded lifestyle kept him away from the public eye, rendering him an enigma to the media and the public alike. He seldom gave interviews, and when he did, his focus remained strictly on his work. This air of mystery only enhanced his allure, making him one of the city's most sought-after bachelors. However, he harbored little interest in romantic connections. The hurt from his past heartbreak lingered, and he was cautious about letting anyone too close. Future Technology, Johnson's brainchild, quickly became a beacon of technological progress in bustling New York City. Specializing in artificial intelligence and robotics, the company led the way in developing next-generation tech. From automated personal assistants to advanced industrial robots, Future Technology's innovations were transforming industries and daily life alike. The rapid expansion of the company was a testament to Johnson's forward-thinking leadership. He possessed an extraordinary ability to foresee market demands and spearhead solutions that positioned Future Technology ahead of the curve. The sleek, high-rise headquarters with glass walls and cutting-edge facilities was a mirror of Johnson's ambitions and unwavering dedication to excellence. Inside, a focused, energetic atmosphere thrived, fueled by a team that shared Johnson's passion for innovation. Yet, despite his professional triumphs, Johnson's personal life painted a starkly different picture. His penthouse, though opulent, often felt cold and devoid of human connection. It was filled with modern art and the latest technological gadgets, but it lacked the warmth of a true home. Johnson's routine was predictable: wake up early, head to the office, work late, and return to his quiet penthouse. His only respite was the time he spent immersed in his books, ranging from timeless literature to the latest in science fiction. Majan, his steadfast housekeeper, was more than an employee. She was a motherly presence and a quiet confidant. She had cared for him since the early days of Future Technology, ensuring that his home life remained orderly amidst the chaos of his professional world. Majan's meals were always prepared to perfection, and her care for his home kept it spotless. Yet, she respected Johnson's need for solitude, never intruding on his personal matters. She sensed the silent ache he carried from his past and understood the weight he bore. Johnson's interactions beyond work were few, limited to business meetings and occasional appearances for Future Technology. He found networking tiresome and often avoided such events, preferring instead to immerse himself in his work. This preference for solitude only added to his mystique, solidifying his reputation as a complex and private figure in the tech world. Johnson Martin's college memories were tinged with both joy and sorrow. the heartbreak he endured from his first love. Emily had become the fuel behind his tireless drive for success. Emily had been his world, his first love, his muse, his dream. But when she left him for a wealthier man, Johnson's heart shattered. He channeled this pain into his work, using it to construct an empire that would shield him from ever experiencing such wounds again. His dedication to future technology was all-consuming, leaving little room for personal relationships. In his mind, love and business couldn't coexist, and he refused to jeopardize his achievements for companionship. As future technology expanded, so did Johnson's responsibilities. He began to see how his isolated lifestyle might actually hinder his progress, particularly when engaging with investors and partners who valued close personal connections. This realization struck him deeply when Alexander Oliver, a major investor from Spain, expressed interest in partnering with future technology. Alexander was a man rooted in tradition and family values, someone who treasured meaningful relationships. He invited Johnson to a formal business dinner, explicitly requesting that Johnson bring a partner. This unusual request presented Johnson with a dilemma. He had no significant other, nor the time or desire to start a relationship. The upcoming dinner with Alexander Oliver was critical for the future of future technology, and Johnson knew he couldn't attend alone. For the first time, he felt a genuine need for companionship, not just as a business strategy but as a personal yearning. This realization marked a profound shift in Johnson's life, setting him on an unexpected path. The invitation from Alexander was a surprise. Alexander was a prominent figure in Europe's tech industry, known for his sharp business instincts and preference for working with companies that shared his values. One evening, while unwinding in his penthouse with a book on quantum computing, Johnson received a call from his assistant, Clara. "Mr. Martin? I've just gotten off the phone with Alexander Oliver's office," she began, her voice carrying a note of uncertainty. "He's very interested in discussing a possible collaboration with future technology. However, he's made an unusual request for the dinner meeting." "What kind of request?" Johnson asked, putting his book down and leaning forward. "He expects you to bring a partner," Clara explained. "It's apparently his tradition to make these business dinners more personal, and he values seeing the personal side of his potential partners." Johnson exhaled, massaging his temples. "A partner, Clara? You know, relationships aren't exactly in my schedule. My life is my work." "I understand, Mr. Martin," Clara responded thoughtfully, "but this dinner is essential. Alexander's investment could elevate future technology to new heights. Perhaps you could find someone suitable to join you, just for one evening." Frustrated and at a loss for options, Johnson decided to step out to clear his mind. He left the office and walked to a nearby coffee shop, a small haven he frequented to escape the pressures of his world. As he sat with his coffee, he noticed a young woman behind the counter, serving with an inviting smile and a graceful ease. Her name tag read Layla Charles. Layla captivated him immediately. She was stunning, her long dark hair pulled back in a neat ponytail, her bright eyes radiating intelligence and warmth. Drawn by a mix of curiosity and desperation, Johnson decided to approach her. He waited until she had a moment's pause, then made his move. "Excuse me, Miss Charles," he began, attempting to sound casual despite his unorthodox request. Layla turned to him with a warm smile. "Yes, how can I assist you?" "My name is Johnson Martin," he introduced himself, catching a glimmer of recognition in her eyes. "I have a rather unusual proposal for you." Layla arched an eyebrow, intrigued yet cautious. "Go on." Johnson took a steadying breath. "I have a critical business dinner approaching, and it requires me to bring a companion. I don't have one. I'd like to hire you to accompany me as my date for the evening. You'd, of course, be compensated generously." Layla stared at him, surprised. "You want to hire me to pretend to be your girlfriend?" "Yes," Johnson confirmed, his tone sincere. "I know it's unconventional, but I've seen how you carry yourself. You're confident, articulate, and seem adaptable. Please consider it." Layla studied him thoughtfully, her mind racing. The offer was indeed out of the ordinary, yet the chance for extra income was hard to ignore. She had bills to manage and a younger brother relying on her. After a moment of contemplation, she nodded. "All right, Mr. Martin, I'll do it, but I have a few conditions of my own." Of course, Johnson agreed, feeling a sense of relief. "Whatever you need." Layla smiled, her decision made. "Then it sounds like we have a deal." With her acceptance, a wave of calm washed over Johnson. The first challenge was resolved, and now they could begin preparing for the dinner with Alexander Oliver. With Layla Charles agreeing to accompany him, Johnson felt a cautious hope stir within him. The following days turned into a flurry of preparation. Johnson wanted to ensure Layla was ready to navigate the high-stakes atmosphere of the dinner with Alexander Oliver. The day after their first meeting, Johnson arranged for Layla to visit his office. He wanted to go over expectations with her and see if she had any questions or concerns. When Layla arrived, she was dressed simply but professionally, her hair neatly pulled back. There was a quiet resolve in her gaze, though a hint of nerve showed. "Thank you for coming, Layla," Johnson greeted warmly. "I appreciate you taking this on." "It's an unusual request, but I could use the extra income," Layla admitted honestly. "Plus, it sounds like an intriguing challenge." Johnson nodded. "I've arranged for a personal shopper to help you find an outfit for the evening. We'll meet with her this afternoon." "Sounds good," Layla replied, though a trace of apprehension crossed her face. Johnson continued, "I'll also fill you in on future technology, our key projects, and a bit about the guests. Alexander Oliver is a prominent investor and his fiancée, Olivia, will join us. They're traditional and place significant importance on personal connections." Later that day, Johnson and Layla met with a personal shopper named Lauren at an upscale boutique. Lauren greeted them with a warm smile and set right to work, selecting an array of dresses and accessories for Layla to try on. As Layla stepped out in dress after dress, Johnson observed, offering feedback to ensure she felt comfortable. Eventually, they selected an elegant yet understated gown that beautifully complemented Layla's natural charm, perfect for the formal dinner. "You look incredible," Johnson said, admiring her transformation as she emerged from the fitting room. Layla blushed slightly. "Thank you. I hope it's suitable." "More than suitable," Johnson assured her. They completed the look with shoes, jewelry, and a clutch. By the end of the shopping trip, Layla felt more confident about the evening ahead. In the days that followed, Johnson and Layla spent more time together, becoming familiar with each other and fine-tuning their plans. Johnson briefed her on future technology and its key achievements, while Layla shared pieces of her life, her responsibilities, and aspirations. Johnson learned about her younger brother and how she worked multiple jobs to support him. Her resilience and resourcefulness struck a chord with Johnson, qualities he couldn't help but admire. The night of the dinner came quickly. Johnson and Layla met at his penthouse, where a stylist waited to help Layla with her hair and makeup. As the stylist worked, Johnson paced in the living room, mentally reviewing the details of the evening. When Layla finally emerged, poised and ready, Johnson was momentarily taken aback. She looked stunning, her hair elegantly arranged, her makeup enhancing her striking features. The gown fit her like it was made for her. "You look absolutely amazing," Johnson said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. Layla smiled, though there was a trace of nervousness. "Thank you. I just hope I don't make a mess of things." "You won't," Johnson said confidently. "You're going to do wonderfully." They left the penthouse and made their way to Sky Restaurant, the chosen venue for the dinner. As they drove, Johnson felt a blend of anticipation and unease. This dinner was critical for future technology, and he hoped everything would proceed smoothly. Sky Restaurant, known for its exclusivity and impeccable service, was among New York City's finest establishments. Johnson and Layla arrived early, giving them time to settle before Alexander and Olivia arrived. The maitre d' led them to a private dining area, softly lit and elegantly decorated. Moments later, Alexander Oliver and his fiancée, Olivia, arrived. Alexander was a tall, imposing figure with a warm smile and a confident handshake, while Olivia, poised and graceful, greeted them kindly. "Johnson, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person," Alexander said, offering his hand. "The pleasure is mine, Alexander. Thank you for this opportunity," Johnson replied. "And this must be your lovely companion," Alexander said, turning to Layla. "Yes, this is Layla Charles," Johnson introduced. "Layla, this is Alexander Oliver and his fiancée, Olivia." "It's a pleasure to meet you both," Layla said, her tone gracious as she shook their hands. "Likewise," Olivia responded warmly. "I've heard much about future technology. What you've accomplished, Johnson, is truly impressive." "Thank you, Olivia. We're very proud of our progress," Johnson replied, feeling a bit more at ease. As they took their seats, conversation flowed easily. Alexander showed a genuine interest in future technology and posed insightful questions about its projects and future ambitions. Johnson, thoroughly prepared, answered each question with confidence, detailing their latest developments in artificial intelligence and robotics. Meanwhile, Layla captivated both Alexander and Olivia with her wit and intelligence. She spoke knowledgeably on a variety of topics, from technology to literature, even sharing a few personal anecdotes that had everyone laughing. Her natural ability to connect with people was apparent, and Johnson could see that both Alexander and Olivia were genuinely charmed. Halfway through the dinner, Alexander leaned back in his chair with a satisfied smile. "Johnson, I must say, I'm genuinely impressed with both you and Layla. Your vision for future technology is clear and you've surrounded yourself with remarkable talent." "Thank you, Alexander. Coming from you, that means a lot," Johnson replied, feeling a wave of relief and accomplishment. As the evening wore on, the conversation became more personal. Alexander and Olivia shared tales of their life in Spain and the journey they'd shared each sang. Observing the natural connection between Johnson and Layla, Olivia couldn't resist asking, "So, how did the two of you meet?" Johnson and Layla exchanged a quick, knowing glance prepared with their well-rehearsed story. "We met at a coffee shop," Layla began, glancing warmly at Johnson. "I was working there, and Johnson came in one day. We struck up a conversation, and, as they say, the rest is history." "Sounds like destiny," Olivia said, clearly delighted by the story. "It's refreshing to see such a genuine connection." Alexander nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed, it's rare to find that kind of chemistry, especially in our line of work." As the evening came to a close, Alexander made his decision known. "Johnson, I'm very interested in moving forward with this partnership. I believe our companies have incredible potential together." Johnson's heart leapt. "That's fantastic news, Alexander. I'm excited for what lies ahead." Alexander rose, signaling the end of the evening. "We'll work out the details in the days to come. For now, let's just enjoy the rest of the night." With the formalities over, the mood softened. They shared a few more laughs and stories before bidding each other good night. As they left the restaurant, Alexander pulled Johnson aside. "Johnson, you've made a wise choice in your partner. Layla is extraordinary." "Thank you, Alexander. I couldn't agree more," Johnson replied sincerely. In the car on the way back to his penthouse, Johnson turned to Layla. "You were phenomenal tonight. I honestly don't think I could have done it without you." Layla smiled, her eyes bright with pride. "It was a team effort, Johnson. I'm just glad I could be there for you." As they drove through the city lights, Johnson felt something shift inside him. What had begun as a business arrangement had evolved into something profoundly meaningful. He was drawn to her strength, intelligence, and kindness. Suddenly, the future seemed brighter not just for future technology but for his own life as well. The success of the dinner with Alexander Oliver was only the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Johnson and Layla continued to meet, both within the bounds of their arrangement and beyond. Gradually, the lines between business and personal blurred, and real feelings began to emerge. Johnson and Layla met frequently to discuss the upcoming collaboration with Alexander, often gathering in Johnson's office or in quiet coffee shops where they could talk without interruption. One evening, after a productive meeting, Johnson suggested a stroll through Central Park. It was a warm summer evening with the park bustling with life. They walked leisurely, soaking in the tranquility around them. "Thank you for agreeing to this arrangement," Johnson said, breaking the comfortable silence. "I know it's not something you planned for." Layla smiled. "It's been an interesting experience, and it's allowed me to see a different side of you. You're not as intimidating as you first seemed." Johnson chuckled softly. "I'm relieved to hear that. I've enjoyed getting to know you too. You've brought something into my life I didn't even realize was missing." As they strolled, Johnson found himself opening up about his past, his family, and his dreams. Layla listened intently, sharing stories of her own struggles and aspirations growing up in Brooklyn. Their conversation flowed easily, and Johnson realized how much he valued her perspective. One of the things that drew Johnson and Layla closer was their shared love for books. Johnson, who had long found peace in reading, discovered that Layla was an aspiring writer. She spent her spare time writing short stories, hoping to one day publish a novel. "I'd love to read some of your work," Johnson said one evening as they sat in his penthouse, surrounded by his extensive book collection. Layla blushed lightly. "I'm not sure it's ready for an audience yet, but maybe someday I'll share it with you." They spent hours discussing their favorite authors, genres, and the impact of literature on their lives. Johnson found himself fascinated by Layla's insights, and her passion for writing inspired him deeply. Their relationship took a pivotal turn one evening when Johnson invited Layla to a gala hosted by a prominent tech organization. It was a high-profile affair, and Johnson wanted Layla by his side. Layla hesitated. "Are you sure about this? It's one thing to accompany you to a business dinner, but this is a major event." "I'm certain," Johnson replied. "I want you there with me. You've handled everything so far with such grace and confidence. This will be no different." Layla agreed, and they spent the following days preparing for the event. Johnson arranged for a designer gown, matching accessories, and a stylist to help Layla get ready. When the evening arrived, Layla appeared in a midnight blue dress that enhanced her natural beauty. The gala was held in a grand ballroom at one of New York's finest hotels. As Johnson and Layla entered, all eyes turned toward them. Usually reserved and aloof at such events, Johnson felt an unexpected sense of pride and ease having Layla by his side. Throughout the evening, they mingled with other guests, engaging in conversations about technology and innovation while savoring the exquisite cuisine. Layla's charm and intelligence captivated everyone she spoke to, leaving a lasting impression. As the evening wore on, Johnson found himself more and more drawn to her. During a slow dance, he finally voiced what had been in his heart. "Layla, this started as a business arrangement, but it's become so much more for me. I realize now that I care about you deeply. You've brought light into my life I didn't know was missing." Layla looked up at him, her eyes brimming with emotion. "I feel the same way, Johnson. You've shown me a world I never thought I'd be part of, and you've believed in me more than anyone else ever has." Johnson leaned in, pressing a gentle kiss to her lips, sealing the feelings they'd both left unspoken. It was a turning point in their relationship, transforming their arrangement into something real, something deeply meaningful. After that night, Johnson and Layla's relationship blossomed. They spent more time together, not just as partners in business, but as a genuine couple. Johnson introduced Layla to his friends and colleagues, and she quickly became a beloved presence in his life. With Johnson's encouragement, Layla began dedicating more time to her writing, submitting her stories to literary magazines. Their bond deepened with every passing day, built on mutual respect, admiration, and true affection. Johnson found a balance between his demanding career and his personal life, thanks to Layla's calming presence. As their relationship grew, their lives became more interconnected, facing the challenges of both their professional and personal worlds together. Johnson and Layla continued to be steadfast pillars of support for each other in their individual pursuits. Johnson's role at Future Technology remained demanding, but with Layla by his side, he found renewed inspiration and a sense of balance. Buoyed by Johnson's unwavering confidence in her talents, Layla committed more time to her writing and began to see the fruits of her labor unfold. Many evenings they'd find themselves in Johnson's penthouse, cooking together, discussing their days, and savoring quiet moments of reading. Layla's presence infused warmth and life into the once sterile space, transforming it into a true home. One evening, as they prepared dinner, Layla broached a subject that had been on her mind. "Johnson, I've been thinking about taking a writing workshop. It's a little costly, but I feel it would really help me hone my skills." Johnson smiled, pleased to see her enthusiasm for growth. "I think it's a wonderful idea. Don't worry about the expense, consider it an investment in your future." Layla's face lit up, her eyes gleaming with gratitude. "Thank you, Johnson. Your support means everything to me." As their relationship deepened, Johnson found himself thinking seriously about their future. He realized he couldn't envision his life without Layla. She had become his confidant, his partner, and the love of his life. Resolving to make their bond official, Johnson began planning a proposal. He wanted the moment to be perfect, something that would capture their unique connection and shared passions. After careful thought, he decided to propose during a private dinner at their favorite restaurant, known for its cozy charm and breathtaking view of the city. On the night of the proposal, Johnson was unexpectedly nervous. He had arranged a table on Sky Restaurant's terrace, decorated with flowers and candlelight. As they sat, the city lights glittering around them, Johnson took Layla's hand. "Layla, these past months with you have been the happiest of my life. You've brought joy and meaning to my world in ways I never could have anticipated. I love you more than words can express." Layla's eyes filled with emotion as she listened, her heart moved by his words. Johnson took a steadying breath and continued, "I can't imagine my future without you. Will you marry me?" He revealed a small velvet box, opening it to display a stunning engagement ring. Layla gasped, her hand covering her mouth in surprise. "Yes, Johnson, yes, I will," she exclaimed, tears of joy spilling down her cheeks. Johnson slipped the ring onto her finger, sealing their promise to one another with a tender kiss. The other guests on the terrace applauded, and the couple basked in the warmth of their shared happiness. Their wedding was a small, intimate gathering held in a picturesque garden, surrounded by close friends and family. Layla wore a simple yet elegant gown, while Johnson looked dashing in a tailored suit. The ceremony was filled with heartfelt vows that spoke to their profound love and respect for each other. Following the wedding, Johnson and Layla embarked on a honeymoon that celebrated their shared love of literature and exploration. They traveled to iconic literary landmarks around the world, visiting the homes of beloved authors and the settings of their favorite novels. From the rolling hills of England, where Jane Austen once lived, to the bustling Parisian streets that inspired Hemingway, their journey was a tribute to their shared passions. This trip only strengthened their bond as they discovered new places and created memories to cherish for a lifetime. When they returned home, they did so with a renewed sense of connection and an even deeper appreciation for one another. Back in New York, Johnson and Layla settled into their lives as a married couple. Johnson resumed his leadership of future technology with a reinvigorated energy, his personal joy spilling over into his professional life. Alexander Oliver's investment had propelled the company to new heights, and Johnson's innovative projects earned international acclaim. Layla, now Mrs. Martin, thrived in her writing career. With Johnson's constant encouragement, she published her first book, a collection of short stories that received critical praise. She dedicated the book to Johnson, acknowledging his unwavering support and the profound impact he had on her journey. Their evenings were often spent together in their penthouse, reading, writing, and simply enjoying each other's company. Together, they found a harmonious balance between their professional ambitions and personal lives, building a fulfilling partnership filled with love, respect, and shared dreams. After returning from their honeymoon, Johnson and Layla eased into the rhythm of their new life together, feeling a profound sense of unity that was stronger than ever before. Just a few months later, they were overjoyed to discover that Layla was expecting their first child. As Layla shared the news with Johnson, a look of astonishment and overwhelming joy spread across his face. "We're having a baby?" he asked, his voice filled with wonder, as though he was trying to absorb the magnitude of this new chapter. "Yes," Layla replied, smiling through happy tears. "We're going to be parents, Johnson." In the months that followed, Johnson threw himself into supporting Layla. He made every effort to attend each doctor's appointment, guiding her through the journey with as much care and attention as he could give. Layla often found him reading books on fatherhood late into the night, determined to be as prepared as possible for their new role as parents. "You're going to be an incredible father," Layla would say, often catching him poring over the latest chapter. "I just want to be as ready as I can," he'd reply with a humble smile, squeezing her hand. "Our child deserves the best we can give." When their son was born, they named him Benjamin after Johnson's father, whom he'd admired deeply and lost many years before. Holding Benjamin in his arms for the first time, Johnson was overcome with a kind of love he had never known, a love so powerful that it felt as though his heart could scarcely contain it. "I never thought I could love like this," Johnson whispered to Layla one evening, as they watched their son sleeping in his crib. "He's our miracle, our little piece of heaven." Layla nodded, resting her head on Johnson's shoulder. "We're blessed, Johnson. I've never felt more complete than I do now with you, with Benjamin. This is everything." Their little family settled into a beautiful rhythm. Benjamin's laughter filled their home, adding a warmth that transformed the once quiet penthouse into a vibrant, lively space. They shared daily routines that were simple yet so meaningful: Sunday breakfasts with pancakes topped with Benjamin's favorite blueberries, evenings curled up reading children's stories, and walks through Central Park, where Benjamin would run ahead, his small figure bright against the lush greenery. As Benjamin grew, he began to exhibit curiosity and intelligence that both delighted and surprised his parents. Like his father, he had a fascination with how things worked, often taking apart his toys to inspect the pieces, then trying to put them back together. One morning, as Johnson was busy working on a project at the dining table, Benjamin approached him with a question. "Dad, why do you like building things?" Johnson looked down at his son, momentarily taken aback by the depth of the question. "Well, Ben, I suppose I like creating things because it helps make life better for people. It's my way of helping." Benjamin nodded, as if absorbing his father's words. "Can I help people too, someday?" Johnson smiled warmly, tousling his son's hair. "Of course you can. You can do anything you put your mind to, Benjamin. Just remember to always do it with a kind heart." Layla, who had been listening from across the room, felt her heart swell with pride. Watching Johnson teach and guide their son brought her a joy she hadn't anticipated. Their life, she realized, was a culmination of their love and shared values they were now passing down to the next generation. As the years passed, future technology flourished, becoming a leader in groundbreaking innovations that impacted lives across the globe. With Layla's unwavering support, Johnson continued to steer the company with integrity and vision. Meanwhile, Layla's career as a writer blossomed. She published several books that were met with critical acclaim, including a touching memoir about family and love that resonated with readers worldwide. The Martin family's success was not just in their careers, but in the way they had woven love, respect, and kindness into the very fabric of their lives. Their story began to spread, inspiring others who saw them as a beacon of what a loving family could be. Layla often received messages from readers who were moved by her words, and it wasn't uncommon for people to reach out to Johnson, seeking advice on balancing a demanding career with a fulfilling family life. One evening, as they gathered around the dinner table, Benjamin, now a teenager with a keen interest in technology, spoke up. "Mom, Dad, I heard at school that people talk about us. They say we're like this perfect family." Johnson and Layla exchanged a look. Then Layla responded gently. "Is that how you feel, Ben? Like we're perfect?" Benjamin shrugged, his thoughtful expression belying his age. "I don't know if perfect is the right word, but I feel lucky. I feel like we have something really special. And I know a lot of my friends don't have this kind of family. I just feel grateful." Johnson reached across the table, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. "We're grateful too, Ben. Being able to share this life with you and your mom, it's more than I ever dreamed of." Layla smiled, her voice soft with emotion. "And it's something we've all built together. It's not about being perfect, but about loving each other and making each day count." As their family continued to grow, both in their love for each other and in the admiration they received from others, Johnson and Layla remained grounded in their values. They taught Benjamin that while success and accomplishments were important, it was the relationships we nurture and the love we share that define a life well lived. Over time, Johnson's contributions to technology and Layla's influence through her writing extended far beyond their immediate world. They became a model family, a reminder to others of the beauty found in compassion, commitment, and connection. And through it all, Benjamin grew, carrying forward the wisdom and warmth instilled by his parents. One evening, as Johnson and Layla sat together in the cozy glow of their living room, reflecting on the years they'd shared, Johnson turned to her with a tender smile. "I always dreamed of building something that would change the world, Layla. I thought it would be my work, my career. But now I see that our greatest creation, our biggest impact, it's this." He gestured around them, to their home, to the life they'd built together. "It's our family. You, me, Benjamin, this is what truly matters." Layla placed her hand over his, her eyes shining with love. "We've built a legacy of love, Johnson, and that's something no accomplishment could ever replace." Their love, which had begun in an unexpected way, had blossomed into a legacy of family, of strength, and of unwavering support that would live on through Benjamin and beyond. As they sat together, they knew that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it with the same love and dedication that had brought them this far. They had created a life they were proud of, and in doing so, they had left an indelible mark on each other and on the world. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey of love, family, and the legacy we build through our relationships. If this story moved you, consider subscribing to our channel for more inspiring stories like this. We'd love to hear from you. Share a comment about a moment that touched your heart, or a personal memory that reminds you of the beauty of family. Let's celebrate these connections together. Don't forget to like, share, and stay connected for more uplifting content.